Hey, Rick McBride here with your Property Masters in 5 minutes of free time with McBride Realty Group. Yesterday, we decided we were going to investigate a little bit whether inventories were actually low in the area. And one quick search of DeBary found the lowest number of homes for sale that I've ever seen. Of course, it's not scientific, but at 75 homes, it was the lowest that, like I said, that I'd ever seen. Typically, you're going to have 10% of your market, 7 to 10% of your market for sale at any time, and 75 homes in DeBary is about 1%. It's actually a little bit less, a hair less than 1% of the market for sale. So that caused me to go do some research and try and figure out if that's true. Is it a local thing? Is it a state thing? Is it a national thing? And I ran across a press release last week from Trulia. Trulia is one of the national things. They're owned by Zillow, but they have a lot of data that they like to comment on. It's not always right, but certainly this press release seems to support inventories being low. The facts, as they said them, are that housing hit a record low in the first quarter of 2017, so this last 3 months, falling 5.1% over the prior year. The worst of all, which we know, is starter and trade-up inventory. So starter homes, first-time home buyers, and then trade-up inventory is just like is the people who are already in their first-time homes, the lower end of the market, the 100,000s around here. It fell 8.7% and 7.9% year over year. It's almost 10% of that inventory gone. Oof, is gone. The stock of premium homes, however, remained relatively steady, especially compared to those, dropping just 1.7%. So we've seen that, and my gut told me that was what was true, and that's what I've been telling people when we ask, is that you can't find a house in the 100,000s, and when you do, it sells like that. We listed one last week and sold it within, I think, 8 hours. And we listed it at $20,000 higher than we thought it might sell for. So that inventory, there just simply isn't any of that. So when something new, and especially immaculate like this one was, comes on the market, it just goes, and it goes fast. But the upper end market, while it's certainly healthy, it's not moving quite as quickly. And then also the inventory is remaining fairly steady. So you have plenty to choose from in the 200 to 300,000 range. So what does that mean? Well, first, who's getting hurt? Obviously, the people getting hurt are the first-time home buyer, lower income buyers, because the typical starter home buyer, according to the report, has to dedicate 38% of their monthly income to buying a home now. And that's up 2.9% from last year. They're having to pay more, but they're having to pay more in rent too, so it's still smart for them to buy. Especially now that if they're paying a little bit more in interest, they may have the tax deduction of the interest tax deduction on their income now. Trade-ups, however, are still affordable. So, who can benefit? Well, if you just use the basic numbers and you say, okay, if I'm sitting in a house that's worth $150 that I thought was maybe worth $100, and I owe maybe $50 of it, I've got $100,000 in equity. And I can look at this $250,000 house, $300,000 house even, maybe if I can afford it, if I use all the equity from my house to pay into it, and all of a sudden, I can increase my living situation substantially, trade up, find a house that I love because there's inventory out there, and keep my payment almost the same. Or take the cash out if you want to. It's up to you, whichever you can afford and whichever works best for your personal situation. But the lack of inventory in the lower end and the amount of inventory available in the upper end what that does is create a unique situation, and this won't last forever. A unique situation where you can sell your first-time home, your starter home, your smaller home, and you can upgrade to this bigger home. Say you're living in Old DeBary, you could upgrade and go live in the Country Club, Orlandia Heights, Riviera Bella, wherever you want to go. You are in a very unique and prime position to upgrade your house. So we recommend that you do that right now because you have the chance, and it doesn't cost you much more money, if any more money, per month. So you're just basically transferring the equity from one property to another. So if you're thinking about upgrading, give us a call, 386-866-1007. You can shoot us a text as well at that number. We are happy to help you. Now is the time to move on that. Don't hesitate, because that market will get hot as well as the economy improves. But you're in a position, in a very unique position right now. 386-866-1007. Have a great day.